my class? In the last class what we had discussed is that is your another type of your memory, that is your virtual memory. So how the virtual memory operations takes place, that is the secondary storage. So either in disk storage. So how the speed of gap can be increased, that is the very major technique that we had used to increase the speed of gap between the secondary memory to the main memory, that is your paging technique. In your paging technique, how the implementation is being done, that is the address translation using the PTBR, that is your page table, and also we used the page faults. We also dealt up with the page faults by resuming the execution of the previously done instruction, and we are switching on to the next instruction, isn't it? That is, we all discussed about the virtual memory. So in this today's class we are going to learn about the secondary storage. So how the secondary storage memory will be performing or will be helpful for your computer system, so that the performance can be increased and also the capacity of the memory can be used up. Fine. So coming on to the secondary storage, as you already know, that is the semiconductor memories are small compared to the non-volatile memories. It is an volatile memory, so we switched on to a large memories, that is the secondary storage memories. It might be any of the storage devices. It might be the magnetic disk or magnetic tapes, CD drives, CD-ROMs, any of the storage devices that we will be used as a secondary storage, that is which is apart from the computer, but whenever we need the access to that memory, we will be switching to the secondary storage, get the data back to the main memory. These are all the things that we will be going to learn in your secondary memory of your computer system. So in this today's class we will be going to learn about the magnetic disk system. So how the data will be stored in your magnetic disk and how the read and write operations will be gets performed on the disks of the magnets. Fine. In the magnetic disk, as you already know, the storage medium will be placed as an platters on one top of another, so that whatever the disks which you are going to keep on for a storage purpose, that will be stored one above the another as a platters or on a stack on a rotating spindle. So here is a diagrammatic view which shows the mechanical structure of your magnetic disk system. So these are the disk platters. So this disk platters is mounted one top of another like in the form of stack. So all these disks are stacked one top of another in a rotating spindle. So each disk consisting of a magnetic thin film on both the surfaces of the disks. So and also this disk is being provided with an uniform rotating speed of read and write head. So which is being in a rotating motion. So whenever you want to read the data or whenever you want to write a data to your particular disk, the read write head which will be placed in the close proximity to the disk will be get hitted out using current certain pulses, and then at that particular location the data will be read or the data will be write at that position of the disk. At this stage you will be going to learn about the mechanical structure, how the magnetic disk will be get structured out. So the mechanical structure will be the disks will be plated one above the other, each disk has a thin magnetic film on both the surface of the disks, so that the disk will be close proximity of the read write head. So when the spindle is made at a rotatory shaft, then the disks will be keep on rotating in a rotatory motion, and where the actual address, the corresponding read or write operation need to happen, at that particular location read or write will be gets performed its operation by heading or hitting the head of the read write head towards the address of the disk area. Fine, this is how the mechanical structure gets worked out. Again, the read-write head which is being placed here, which will be the read-write head in detail which is been given here. So, the read-write head will be given, or the operations will be carried out in your read-write head by passing a suitable current pulse with suitable polarity through the magnetizing coil. So, here you will be sending the magnetizing current through the magnetizing coil, and the thin film which is here is a magnetic film of your discs. So, when the current pulse with suitable polarity which is being sent through the magnetizing coil, which will be consisting of magnetic yoke, so that currented pulse will be encoded with the binary data which will be performing either your read operation or with your write operation. Fine. So, several methods have been developed for encoding of information. So, one such a scheme that is being used is your Manchester encoding or phase encoding. So, whatever the data that you want to read to a disk, or whatever the data that you want to write from a disk, write to a disk, whatever you need to perform, that will be done once. Technique will be used is your phase encoding, that will be mapped up or combined with the clocking information. So, you will be mapped on with the clocking information. So, every bit will be stored at, or every bit will be get stored at the mid period of the, or at the midpoint of the bit period. So, here you can see here, that is 0, 1, that is 0, 1, the encoding of your binary data is taken place through the midpoint of your bit period. This is 1 bit, and the bit patterns is been encoding at the midpoint of your bit period. So, this is what the binary pattern, how the encoding of the techniques is being done, and the direction of magnetization is being given here. So, one drawback that you will be finding in your phase encoding is that it requires the bit storage of each bit, isn't it? So, you need a large enough space to store all the bits information. So, that is why you will be not much using with the phase encoding. So, or the Manchester encoding, where each bit will be encoded at the midpoint of your bit period. Fine. So, this is how the mechanical structure and other details of your read-write head and how the phase encoding will be done, or binary data get fit into your magnetic disks or your of a magnetic film in your secondary storage devices. Fine. So, let us look upon how the organization is being done in your disks of your magnetic tapes or magnetic disks. So, in this you have got to know, that is, disk is being plated one after the other, and each disk is being have a close proximity with to the read-write head. So, when it has a close proximity to the read-write head, you can perform your corresponding read operation or write operation at a particular area where you need to perform the operation or perform the things whichever you are requested by the processor. Now, you will be going to learn about the organization of the each disk. So, if I need to address to a particular area of a particular disk, means how I can address to the disk, how the divisions or how the organization of disk is being made it of. So, let us look on that. Simple organization of your disks, how the disk is being organized and how the a particular area in the disk can be addressed. So, before going to look about the organization of the disk, first we shall get clear with the three terms, that is your disk, disk drive and disk controller. So, your complete magnetic disk is being composed of three main components, that is your disk, disk drive and your disk controller. So, what do you mean by disk? Disks are nothing but the number of platters that is being mounted one top of another on a spindle will be called it as disks. And the rotating shaft which will be placed the disc which is been mounted on the rotating shaft which with an uniform speed which will be called it as your disk drive. So the disk drive is responsible for the rotation of your disks in an uniform speed. So the platters which is been mounted one above the other in a form of a stack will be called it as the simple term disk. And the last term is your disk controller. The disk controller is the controller circuitry which enables or which controls the operating system of the circuit will be called it as disk controller. These three components will be completely constituting the element called as magnetic disk. Fine. So these three components will be making up of your magnetic disk system. Fine. So now coming on to the organization of your disk. So the complete surface of the disk is being divided or it is being categorized into number of concentric rings called as track. So the surface of the disk is being divided or it is being categorized into numerous concentric rings, and that name will be called it as tracks, and each track is being again subdivided into different sections, and that sections you will be calling it as sector. Fine. So the tracks, the concentric rings which is being done, which will be called it as tracks, and again the tracks is being divided into different portions or different sections, and that sections you will be calling it as sector. So now when the read write head want to read a data or want to write a data to a particular memory location, means you can give corresponding sector address and corresponding track address. Fine. So here I have given the first ring as sector 0, track 0. Second ring as sector 1, track 1. Again sector n, track n. Again I can give this name as sector 0, track 0 and sector 1, isn't it? This is the track number 0 and it will be sector 1. This is again track 0, sector 2. This is track 0, sector 3. So like this I can keep on giving the name conventions to each and every sections of my disk surface. Fine. Now if the read write head whatever which is being close proximity to the disk surface can write or can read the data from a particular track and from a particular sector. So this is how the organization of the disk platters can be done. Fine. It is being divided into several concentric rings called as track, and each track is being divided into different sections or sector portions called as sectors, and for each tracks and each sectors you will be giving an unique numbers, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 and all, so that you can address each and every track and each and every sector of your particular magnetic disk. Fine. This is how the accessing and organization of data can be done on your disks. Fine. Next, coming on to the properties of your disks. So there are certain main functionalities your disks is been performing. So what do you mean by seek time? Seek time is nothing but the time taken by the read write head to reach up the particular track of my disk. So when the processor sends a request, that request is being made, that addressed data, I need the time taken by the read write head to reach up that addressed position will be called it as seek time. So if my address is now 2 is track 1 and sector 3. So what is the time duration I taken to reach the track 1 position, means that will be called it as the seek time. So I am seeking the time interval, I am taking the time interval to reach the addressed position of my disk. So that is why it will be called it as seek time. Fine. And the latency time is nothing but the time taken by the read write head to from the starting position of the desired address. So now what I have in the seek time, I have to reach up my addressed position. The time taken by the read write head will be called it as the seek time. Now I reached up, what is the address which is been given to me? Track 1, isn't it? So I have reached up with the track 1. Now again I need to go for what? Section 3. This is my track 1. Next this is sector 1, sector 2, sector 3, isn't it? So I need to reach up this sector to perform my addressed operation. Fine. So the amount of time required to start up the operation at the desired location will be called it as latency time. So this latency time is also being called as rotational latency. You can also call the latency time as an rotational time, and the last access time is the sum of your seek time plus latency time will be giving out your complete access time that is being required for your disk system. Fine, understood. What do you mean by seek time and what do you mean by latency time, and the sum of both seek time and latency time will be called it as the accessing time on your disk platter. Fine, understood. This is what all about your disk pattern. Magnetic disk of a system, that is how the mechanical structure will be there and how it will be mounted on a spindle, and that spindle will be rotating in a uniform head where the read write head will be in the close proximity to the surface of the disks. So the read write head, you will be supplying the current pulse with a suitable polarity on the magnetizing coil so that the read write head gets hitted on to the addressed location of the disk. Now how to address the particular location on your disk? Again the organization, will be categorizing your disk surface into concentric rings called as tracks, and each track is being divided into particular sectors. So to that particular sector you can place the addressed data, whether you can perform the read operation or the write operation, and the time intervals which is being required to reach the position of the addressed location and to carry out the addressed operation will be called it as seek time and latency time, and the sum of both seek and latency time will be computed as a total access time required on the disk platters. Fine, understood. So moving on to the next topic, that is your disk controllers. Next topic, that is your disk controller. The complete operation of the disk is being carried out by your disk controller. So the disk controller provides an interface between the disk drive and the processor and the main memory. Fine. So the disk drive, the disk controller is being connected to the functional units of your computer system through a bus structure. Fine. So the disk controller will be responsible for accessing the data in your particular disk drives. So wherever the disk drives is being present, in that particular data, whichever the data you need to have to fetch and access, these are all the controlling signals will be handled by a circuitry called as your disk controller. This disk controller will be connected to an bus communication channel called as your bus structure. Through the bus structure, whatever the communication process, that is either from the processor or from the main memory, that is if the data is not present in the main memory, then you will be going to fetch the data in your secondary storage devices, that is your disk drives, isn't it? So coming and fetching the data in your disk drives, again you need to have an interface, that is your disk controller. Through the disk controller you can access to a particular disk drive, so that the data will be moved on to your main memory, and from the main memory it will be reaching to the processor for the execution. Fine, this is how the simple organization of the disk controller will be done for the communication of data from the secondary storage to your main memory, as well as with respect to the processor. So the communication channel which is been responsible is your bus structure. Fine, the main functional units of your disk drive or disk controller is, the first is the main memory addresses. First it will be checking out with the main memory address whether where the data, actual data is being present. Next it will be coming on to the disk address. Disk address, how you can address a disk, that is each disk will be given an disk number, next coming on to the track numbers, and then you will be coming on to the sector numbers, isn't it? So based on that you will be addressing each and every part of your particular disk platters. Next you will be finding out the seek time. So already I had been explained what do you mean by seek time. Seek time is nothing but whether where to perform or where you will be searching for a particular addressed location by the processor. So such time will be called it as seek time. So seeking is nothing but searching for the address which is been sent by your processor. Next, read and write operation is nothing but reading the data from your desired memory location or writing the data to that particular desired memory location. These are all the things that will be operated, and all the operations will be controlled by a control circuitry called as your disk controller. So all the control signals will be passed through the disk controllers itself, whether to read a data or to write a data or to fetch a seek time or to fetch an latency time or the computation of your access time, that is the sum of both seek time and latency time. These are all the control signals will be passed by a control circuitry called as your disk controller. Fine, this is what all about your secondary storage device, that is your magnetic disks. So moving on to a next storage device, that is your optical disk. So one such example that you can give for your optical disk is that the CD drive, CD DVDs and CD ROMs, isn't it? So CD drives and CD ROMs. So these are all the things that you will be using the means of optical. So that is why you will be using called as optical technologies. So how the operations will be done in your optical storage devices and all, we shall look at it. Fine. Technology mainly use up with laser light source. When the laser light is being focused on the surface of the spinning disc, they reflects on the intended photo detectors. So when the reflection is being fall on the intended photo detectors, that will be magnetizing the stored binary pattern. So this is here is a simple portion of an small CD drive, small portions of a CD drive, where you will be having the underlining layer, the bottom layer will be your polycarbonate plastic, and you will be having the pits, intended area of pits, and unintended plain area will be called as land. A thin layer of aluminium foil is placed over the pits and lands, which is being protected by an arc cyclic. So, and the topmost layer will be stamped out with the label, and how the focus of laser light is being done in your pit and land is being shown in this diagram. So when the laser light is being focused from the source, it will be reflecting through the aluminium foil which is being placed, and that reflector will be reflects back to the photo detector which is being got placed. isn't it? So whatever the reflections you are getting to the detector, you will be getting your stored binary data. So coming on to your next case, here there is a elevation between your pit and lands. So at that case, whatever the laser light which is, this is the case where the source of laser light is being sent between the source and the detector. So when the laser light is being sent it out, so from the source, that reflected will be reflected at the aluminum foil and gets reflect back to the detector, where you will be getting the actual stored binary data. Coming on to the next case, where there is slight elevation between your pit and your land, where the focused laser light which is being sent, where due to slight elevation, so the reflected beam will be getting out of focus. So when there is an elevations, you will be not getting the reflection, whereas again in the straight area of a land, you will be getting the correct reflection which is being sent from the source to the detector. So this is how you will be sending the laser light, and that data will be getting read or write to a particular area of a CD drive, that is using the CD technology with a laser light source. Fine. This is all about how you will be storing with the data in using up with the CD technologies. Again, you can use, there are several other storage devices like CD-ROMs, magnetic tapes, where you can make use of the secondary, use that devices as a secondary storage for the memory system. Fine. This is all about the computer memory organization, that is your RAMs, ROMs, and also you learnt up with all the operations of each and every types of memories, and next you came out up with the secondary storage device, that is virtual memories, and in this class you studied about the secondary storage device, that is your magnetic disk and also CD technologies. In these all storage devices, how the operation is being performed and how the data is being stored, whether you are reading the data or whether you are writing the data to a particular storage devices. Fine. This is what all about the computer memory organization, and this completes the third module of the syllabus. Fine. We shall meet up in your next class. Thank you all.